Minnesota managed to keep
What's up, guys?
New York
Welcome to the hard carry. We're in progress of NYSL and Minnesota Rokkr. Sorry, I was a little late coming back from getting supplies, but we're here. We're a little late. You can actually catch the beginning of this one on the last video. Let's check it out.
The biggest thing, Jay, is that lately it feels like for the New York Subliners, a lot of these hard points, and especially on Hotel, have been coming down to the wire. Our stats guy Tim has let us know that the last 6 New York Hotel hard points have been within 25 points, and in fact 6 of the last 8 hard point losses for New York have been within 30 or less. So it just feels like for Minnesota, it doesn't have to be a dominant dub, it just has to be a close one.
Yeah, you just got to keep it close. You got to keep trading hills back and forth, and so far they have done a great job at that. Now we find ourselves in towards the Diner Hill. New York currently down by 10 points. They know exactly where Minnesota are trying to attack from Jewel's side, from Shandy's side. So it's all about winning these gunfights. Skies and Fame, they go for a trade-off, but New York, they come out on top in these engagements as Skies with the snap, able to take down the final player. New York take the lead again.
And it feels like Skies finally ends up arriving
all right.
at the hotel. It was
Close match, NYSL, Rokkr.
Hydra, the SMGs who are having a blast.
Rokkr with Fame.
But here comes Fame and Cammy, able to answer back with a few of their own. So Rokkr reclaim control over at the restaurant, and now all of the focus goes in toward the top right side of your screen. The bottom left side of your screen, which is exactly where Cammy happens to be rotating toward now. Already off to a wonderful game, Jay. 16 and 10. A lot of questions around this recent Rokkr replacement is about the comfortability. And right now, King Cammy seems to be in a great spot statistically.
Yeah, he's feeling great right now. Holding down his angles, winning his easy one-on-one gunfights, and clutching up when he needs to. There's a huge gunfight to start off this hill by winning that one towards Back Kitchen. Which now allows you to get this first 15 to 20 seconds uncontested. But New York with a lot of pressure towards the back end are going to be able to flip those spawns. You have to try to go big. Cammy's just cutting them all down. He's feeling himself. The Cam man already on a 4-stream.
Cammy looking good.
Let's just put it down. Better safe than sorry. Snaps onto Hydra. Already on a 5. This has been a flawless hold for Minnesota to grow the lead by almost 50 points.
Yeah, an excellent first set of rotations. As we said, Rokkr with the lead. They're going to have it regardless of the way that these final 15 seconds go. But Cammy, an excellent performance. Right now sits at 20 and 12. Having himself a game.
Dance.
Oh, ends up going low. Drops Hydra, and from there, Rokkr continue to dominate. 171 to 111, taking it to one of the best hardpoint teams in the game. And we'll see how the second set of rotations begin to go, and it hasn't even really been all on the new addition in Fame. It also hasn't really been off the back of Afro either, Jay. This has been a collective effort from the previous Toronto twosome.
Yeah, the team is playing flawlessly right now for Minnesota. Crossfires are being set up. The trades are efficient. They're also soaking a lot of that time, but now they have to find a break on towards P1. They aren't getting the preferred side. You see where Hydra is. He's just staying alive towards Spa. He knows that his team needs those spawns going in towards the next hill. But you have to continuously fight for this P1. That's 3, make it all 4 dead. This is where Rokkr could put the pressure on the flip spawns.
Big player is going to be number 5 in Bance. NYSL trying to make their way into the top side of the map. Minnesota right now with spawns. This is where they can really start to elevate their game and maybe call map number 1 theirs. Let's step aside in a crucial spot and go to the comms of Minnesota Rokkr.
Yeah, we one broken door. Broken door. On time, dead. Nice. One more on time. I'm one shot here. Need it. Nobody go straight. I'm going in. Yeah, one on pillar. And then back Eddie. Pillar.
I don't see it.
Kill me. Nice, I'm waiting.
I'm going in.
Let's push that left. Left, right now, broken. I spawn back spot. Okay, I might play this. I'm gonna play this. Play this with me. Spawn in? Yeah.
I'm gonna play safer, okay?
Yeah, I'm challenging Brookside. Checking. Nice. It's backside time, I think.
Nice, Ben. Nice, I'm playing new.
I still feel back spot. I think there's more broken. I'm pushing through bed. Yeah, I'll get time, man. I'll tell you when you're good. Good night.
What's on it? Like dark on it?
Wait, one's on me, count. Yeah, stun trees. I think he's white. Back
door, absolute sky. One's close dark, okay? Close dark.
Here's my spawn, don't bind it.
Dark dead.
Nice.
He's
being so time. I'm playing this one.
I got one.
I got one. Kitchen on me. He's be done. Go dark, dead. Be done, boys. Go on beans. Go on beans.
Yeah, I'm on beans. I go cool.
Dark on me. Dark dead.
Nice.
And the communication
Nice
from Minnesota
by
to the
Rokkr.
point, you heard it at the end of that P2 hard point. We have to rotate with about 30 seconds left. The only player that rotated was Afro, but with Afro being that player here, he was able to start off the trade battle. And eventually his team comes out on top. New York thought that they had the rotation, but you didn't get past the Afro. And now Minnesota, just keep Kitchen Hill scrappy. Exactly what you want to do. You only give up about 25 to 30 seconds to New York. You maintain this lead the way that you have it. And now you have that rotation to potentially close out the game here at Double Desk.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jim, I mean, just looking at that score, how impressive is this right now from Minnesota? Like we said, 227 to 164. Cammy is having himself a game at 27 and 18. And right now for Rokkr, 15 points away from calling game one. Vance trying to cut away the forces, trying to remove
Rokkr almost got it here.
That's another
8 seconds.
3
That's
down,
it.
as this should be where Rokkr end up locking it down. 2 more seconds, and there you have it. Minnesota answering early here on Hotel. As we said, versus one of the
Rokkr
best
looking good.
point teams in the game. We said the true test would start here. And boy, what a beginning here for Minnesota as they go up 1-0.
Rokkr just played some great hardpoint, man. They kept the P1 scrappy. They did a great job of just maintaining that P2 side. And then even when they were rotating over towards Kitchen, they were still putting on pressure towards P2, knowing that New York did not have the numbers off the rotation. You kill these guys off hold, they're going to spawn all the way behind Spa, and then you're able to set up that pinch. Minnesota Rokkr, whenever the game got scrappy, they kept it scrappy for a long time, did not allow New York to get a full hold on any one of these money hills. And eventually, that's why you see the scoreline the way that it is. What a performance from Cammy, though, man. This was a guy who got a lot of slack in the beginning of the year. He was basically playing the same role as Attach. But obviously, with Attach now hitting that bench, with Fame coming in, a guy that literally is just here to do the dirty work for this team, almost has 2 minutes in the hill, 3K damage, 15 non-trading kills, ends the game 24 and 21. He's the reason why Cammy's able to go 30 and 18. Because Cammy's just holding down his power positions, winning his one-on-ones, making the game easier. If you heard him listening, bench, let's go Cam. Like, we haven't heard that in such a long time. You can just tell that the Minnesota energy is definitely in the building. And with a map 1 like that, we were talking about a true test. They shut me up real quick. That was great work from Minnesota, now up 1-0.
Yeah, we'll see if they can build upon it as well. But, Jay, I mean, that is just you summarized it perfectly. It feels like for Minnesota right now, they needed to reset, obviously. When you go like 0-11 in Search and Destroy, when you aren't winning in a single series and an entire stage, a change has to be made. And obviously, as we know, very controversial, removing Attach from the lineup, but it is undeniable. Right now, Minnesota are in such a great form. The hard points have been impressive, really. I mean, we can talk about it. The way that they looked at the Minnesota home series was undeniably fantastic. But coming into this hard point where we are very much looking at Rokkr more than any other team, it feels like on this day, they come through and answer in a massive, massive way. 250-164 is the ending scoreline. But as we touched upon it, right? It's going to be more question marks, it feels like, on the Search and Destroy. I think lately, Jay, I mean, I think it was Ant who touched on it on the desk. It feels like maybe the real key to success for this team could be in Search and Destroy if they expect to make a decent effort here in the closing stages of this season. How do you feel like they're going to fare on Hotel S&D? And I guess on the flip side, how do you feel New York fares on a map like this?
I think this is going to be a great S&D for both of these teams. A little bit more for New York because this is a complete roster. On the opposite side for Minnesota, this will be the first time that they do play some Hotel Search and Destroy. So it's all about Fame fixing the mistakes that they currently have. And that's basically on both ends. They struggle at getting first bloods. Their defenses are not the best, and neither is their offenses. So it has to be a whole new game plan for Minnesota. But the biggest thing that they can do versus a team like New York, where they usually only have success on one side of the map, and that's usually on their attacking rounds. They're second overall throughout all the teams in the CDL on winning those rounds. Every time, a majority of the time that they win those rounds, they get it by getting that bomb down. 74% of the time on their attacking rounds, they plant the bomb, they close out, and they are able to find a W. So I think that's the biggest thing for Minnesota. You shut down that bomb plant, that quick bomb plant, and you make sure you play your trades effectively, because we know Minnesota, at least the Minnesota of old, whenever they found themselves getting first blooded, they simply could not win the round. But with this new roster, we even saw Fame last week clutching 2v1 situations. They have a little bit more ice. It's probably the honeymoon stage that's been treating Minnesota well, but if you could come out here and take this search and destroy versus the New York Subliners, who like themselves some wholesale search and destroy, this is going to be a map that you can definitely look back on and be like, this was the turning point of our season.
Without a doubt. We got to talk about our players to watch, though, coming into this game number 2, Jay. And it's a fun battle. Years ago, these guys were faced off against each other in EU Challengers, and now they are really the stars of their franchises. You've got Hydra here for NYSL. So far in S&D this season, he's sporting a 1.09. Mr. Consistent, really.
Hydra looking good.
Modes. And on the other side, Jay, we have got Afro here for Minnesota. The craziest part for me, Jay, is that he is a KD like that. Despite the team somehow losing 11 search and destroys in a row, I can only imagine how much better that number was just weeks ago.
Oh yeah, Afro's just different, man. Like you said, they went on an 11-game S&D losing streak, and he still manages to keep one of the best KDs in search and destroy as an aggressive SMG player. Insane stats. That's going to be a battle all map long between for those SMGs.
Map 2.
You know the pressure that they like to put on towards bedroom for both Hydra and Afro. But I think the biggest turning point for me, the biggest people that I want to focus on, is a guy like Priester for New York, who really didn't have that best map number 1. We saw him last week versus Atlanta FaZe. He took over. So let's see if he can do that again. And then on the opposite side for me, it has to be Bance, the playmaker for the Rokkr. Too big.
Ends up getting found out, as we said, by really the one player to look out for on New York. We talked about Priesta. We also have to highlight Hydra, understandably so, as he is the one who's responsible for that first blood. And now for Rokkr, well, they've got everybody pretty much in the same position, which means that they know all the info that they need in a close quarter. Meanwhile, where are the Subliners now going to rotate? Where are the angles they're about to hit? Minnesota plants the bomb, and now they look to hunker down as the New York Subliners begin their retake. We'll see if they can find an entry kill, and there it is.
Oh, they find 2, so now it's all left up to Cammy. He gets cut down. That's usually something that New York tend to struggle with. The retakes over towards that A site, but when you find that first blood, when you take full map control, 2 players through Shandy, 2 players through middle single, you'd read the exact setup that Minnesota were trying to put themselves in. You pick both of those players apart, trying to wrap back, and then leave it all up to Cammy. Last player on the bomb. Every single player from New York flies at him, and the Subliners are able to take the first.
Great first round here for New York. I know we've been talking a lot, Jay, about Minnesota, needing to maybe start to improve in their search and destroy game, as that's really been an issue for them lately. And I guess you could say the same thing about the Subliners. Very interested to see how they play coming into the Major 4 qualifiers. They split those S&Ds versus Atlanta, but that's the only dub that they've had in their last 5 S&Ds. So 1-4 in their last 5, trying to improve that stat line here online. Interesting gunfights here in round number 2. It was Hydra who found the first blood on Bance to start things off, and now it is the inverse in round 2. Rokkr answer first.
Yeah, great first blood on Bance, knowing that the aggression is what Hydra is thinking about in that early round. But instantly, the trade is there as Fame gets cut down. Priesta gets some information onto a player connector. He's trying to commit towards the child, but he's just going to get out with his life. New York still putting pressure towards the middle of the map. They're able to take down Afro. Now that puts them in a 3v2 situation. You see Cammy now. He's going to back down, thinking that the pressure is going to go over towards B. Should be a free A bomb plant for the Subliners.
There's a great crossfire established there from New York to catch a very pesky and aggressive Afro. So now they've got numbers, and now they've got the bomb planted, making Minnesota come to them. As we said, the longtime duo, Bance and Cammy. At least they've got dead silence to work with. Bance for the first, eventually does get traded out. And Sky's responsible for the final few engagements.
Nice job from NYSL.
That's a great job to lock things down. Statue indeed is NYSL. Answer again, 2-0.
That was a 3v4 situation. But it was just staying aggressive towards the middle of the map. You knew that's where Minnesota were trying to play that setup. So at least watch that cross over towards A site. Take down 2 of those players. You get the player that was playing over towards B and Cammy to wrap back. You get the bomb down. Now you set up one of the best ARs in the game in Skies on the Godhead glitch. Never an easy task to take him off of that situation. He's able to find the final 3 on the round.
On the
Already
Godhead.
4-0 to start this search and destroy New York. 2 flawless rounds to start this one.
Oh, and here we go. It is going to be an all-out brawl here in the middle side of the map. And oh my goodness, it's all going the way of NYSL. Stack them up and lock them down. Afro, last player alive. Dead silence thinking that this
I'm out here.
actually going to happen, when in reality, it is quickly beginning to fade. A very fast round number 3, and so far, all of these rounds belong to NYSL.
That's just a perfect blind counter right there out of the Subliners. They take mid-map control. They read the play beautifully, what Minnesota were deciding to do, and that's try to take mid-map, try to take Diner, but they were ready for every single angle that they were going to try to push from as they cut them all down without dropping. 4 up, 4 down. Very clean round right there from the Subliners to put them up 3 up.
Yeah, very commanding and solid performance so far from NYSL. As we said, coming off of that loss in Hardpoint, you begin to question where's the momentum going to be, and right now it is quickly shifted. Sky's now extending that spree to 5-0. We'll see if he can have a cruise missile before maybe even this 4th round comes to a close. And you bet
didn't even see it
already. Now it's 6-0, trying to keep flawless. Kami tagged up, but yet to drop. Meanwhile, to the top side of the map,
oh man,
to find a bit of a lane. The issue being is that his teammates continue to get picked apart here from Skies. Do we hear 8? No, does he go for a heat check? Oh, what? What is happening?
Heat check.
Skies is just putting down shots, but eventually you gotta get pushed up forward, brother. Bance has already worked his way behind towards back spa. And Skies is that player with bomb in hand. He cuts down Kami. Now it's a 1v4. You know where Bance is coming from. It has to be on the flank. Couple snakes come in. He's not able to pick up the final.
Damn. Skies is on one right now.
Subliners, and more specifically Skies, the only player over towards that B site. At A site, he's able to cut down 3 players in a row. First person without even being seen. Great wall bang on the Fame. Great read onto Afro bottom bed. And then the patience to find Kami, the last player who was playing over towards bedroom. So eventually put yourself in a 4v1 situation. You don't even have to get the bomb down. And you also don't drop. 4-0 is the score line so far in this search and destroy with Skies. Doubling up on that one, 8-0 with the cruise missile.
Good God, Jay. Like, what the heck? Okay, we're just going to bring out the sniper. He's like, I'm
switch it up.
You know what? I'm hitting every single shot. Let's just bring out the sniper. Let's just have some fun. Let's add to the highlights. After what has basically been a mixtape here in Game 2 from Caesar. And understandably so, Rokkr completely hauled everything. Knowing that if Skies is still alive...
What?
Okay. I was gonna say, if Skies is still alive, you have to be careful, but I don't know what's going on with Skies from the top side of the bedroom. Regardless of it, it is a quick trade to kick off this round number 5. And Minnesota right now, they've got a free plant on A.
Here comes a cruise.
Well, here comes in the cruise.
Here comes the cruise, and they were going to try to go for that bomb plant, but once that gets invested, now you're forced to at least wrap back and now go for that bomb plant. But with that time, them giving up that positioning, it's now going to allow Kismet to pop that dead silence. Go
damn,
for the
Priest
flank.
at
Priest
3-0.
takes the bomb carrier off site. Now in the 3v2 situation, Afro, he's just going to try to get this bomb down. Afro Fame have to try to clutch up the 2v3.
What?
Ooh, how about the shot coming in from the Rook? Skies brings out the pistol in the meantime, which now leaves everything on to Afro. The player we called out, the one to watch here in the search to destroy. Does he have a 1v2 on the cards? If not, this is surely going to be a game guaranteed for NYSL. Peeks out for a moment and instantly gets bruised on up. The defuse is in. Priesta ends up taking him down and on Overwatch. It is Skies who remains flawless, and NYSL who are doing the same. Now mark it up. 5-0, 1 to go.
1 round away from closing out this search to destroy in a clean 6-0. I thought Afro played that to the best of his ability. You peek towards top double windows, you get platform, you get the information. No players on bomb, but just a snap right there from Priesta to get him one shot as he was dropping down towards bottom bed. You allow Scott to just instantly hop on that defuse. You watch over him. You hit Afro with at least 1 to 2 more bullets through that bottom bedroom. You're able to close out the round. Minnesota just haven't had an answer yet. They're going to take mid-map control this time around, but it's a 2-2 split from New York. They're ready for the pinch already.
In the mid we go. Cammy falls again. Now at 0-6. It does not get much better than this if you're a New York fan. Into the 6th round we go. Already in. Now to a 4v2. Up to Bance and Fame. Thankfully, Fame is at least able to lighten the load a bit. Bance will also do the same. So a 4v2 now turns into a 2v2. In the meantime, for New York, they at least get that bomb down, and now it is up for Rokkr to come to them. But take a look at the spot right now from Priest.
Oh, he just fell.
We'll see if Rokkr expected or not. Oh, he jumps away.
Pretty sure both of the players on Minnesota also have a TAC 56 in hand, so it's not going to be quick and dandy. Trying to break your way in towards the kitchen. You try to hit the wall bang that Caesar Skies taught us all last week in his game, but Fame is at least able to take down Priesta. Now it's all up to the Bulldog. 1v2.
Nice.
Oh, and he ends up getting found out. Fame coming away with some
Fame was the only one with the Vaznev.
As Minnesota will hold off the goose egg here in round number 2. And what does it take? A crazy and wild 2v4 in the midst of a 2v2 retake, which, as you said, Jay, they didn't really have the right weapons necessarily for the job. Fame picks up that Vaz off the ground and really allows for it to go to work. Minnesota, better late than never.
Yeah, that was just good work from Bance and Fame to hold down mid-map control. At least find a trade onto Hydra, and then for Bance to play it super patient, knowing what Skies likes to do, and that's usually be the solo guy over towards A. He was trying to hit that flank towards top plat, but Bance reads it beautifully, takes him down, and in the 2v2, they get all the information on the rat back towards kitchen to eventually find their first round in this search and destroy. Can they try to chain a couple together, though? Is this time Bance? Hopefully he's not sticking out this time around to get first blooded, as that bomb is going to get planted in New York in the retake now.
Maybe learning from some prior mistakes. Fame again able to answer. He was so crucial in that last round. Now makes it 4 in a row. Rokkr with first blood, as we said, not a common theme for them so far throughout this game. Let's see if they can make it work now. Fame able to stay alive. Weakens one with the nade. That's where Bance can start to come into fruition, come into force. Plants down the bomb, finds a kill on top of it. Skies eventually falls, and now it is all up to Priest.
Okay, Rokkr 2 in a row.
Well. And you can see what that last round does confidence-wise for Minnesota. Confident here in round number 8 as they put up their second overall on the board.
Yeah, that's just a perfect play call right there for Minnesota. You get the bomb down quickly. You force New York to retake where they do tend to struggle on this map. So they were able to just get that bomb down. You hold down all your cuts. You find the first blood. And you hold strong from double deaths to cut down everyone else. Minnesota Rokkr. Now 2 rounds in a row. Slowly starting to fight their way back into the search and destroy. Afro, we got to get one, brother.
We do. It all starts with 1. I think I said that was round. We've seen 8 rounds. This is now our 8th round.
Yeah.
5-2. All good, Jake. All good. Numbers are difficult. And right now, all we want is just 1 from Afro. Shots established. And Kismet has made his way onto the bomb site. Bance eager to tag him up. Yes, he does. A big one to start off here for Bancy.
That's a big first blood. But Skies is able to equalize that situation. Put him in a 3v3. But look at Afro. His silence runs out. Priest is in a position to potentially take care of him.
0-6 for Afro?
Does he know that Afro's just waiting for his opportunity to strike. Slowly trying to peek. But the bomb's going to get planted.
Oh.
No. It doesn't happen, but Fame and Cammy take away 2 nonetheless. Fame has got that cruise.
Oh, Skies.
He's out of the fight. He is out of the fight, and now it comes in to the 1v1. Skies versus Cammy. Time continues to tick, and now Caesar reveals his position, but at the same time, he ensures that Cammy is not on that bomb. Cam, in the meantime, remained stationary. He thought he was going to go toward the catwalk when in reality, as Caesar just pulled off this
Oh!
Cammy can hear in time.
He did.
Bet he will. Cammy wins the 1v1 and Rokkr keep their dreams alive. Down 5-0. Now have won 3 straight.
Rokkr keeps their dreams alive, and they also keep Afro. Potentially to find his first kill on the map. Currently sitting at Agent Afro 007. But his teammates are doing it all. Finding the trades when they need to. Fame has turned up as well. Pretty sure he earns himself a cruise missile. Yeah. I'm not mistaken. So Now you're on the back foot if you are New York. A couple rounds are starting to slip away, but Minnesota with the momentum on their side. Huge 1v1 clutch by Cammy. So now put them back on the attacking round. And with Fame having this cruise missile, this can do drastic things for that Minnesota Rokkr roster. This time New York, they need to switch up their defensive setup. Not a 2-2 split. Everyone is making sure that they try to stop this bomb blend towards A.
Afro finally got his first kill.
Finally gets on the board. It's all it took. Patience pays off. Cuts away Priesta, and now from there, as you called it, buddy, you do have that streak. Obviously, they would love to hold on to it for as long as possible. Maybe use it in a dire situation. Currently, in terms of map positioning, right, you got Cammy over toward the top side, just making sure the flanks are clear. Meanwhile, for NYSL, very much so spread out throughout the bedroom. You've got Kismet also watching that mid cut. He also could begin to wrap back around. And now for Minnesota, it appears that bomb's site rotation is now inbound. 2 players rocking dead silence. Kismet, he's going to be the first line of defense and potentially the last line of defense.
Oh yeah, Kismet's the only guy here for New York. Skies is on his rotation on the way back. See, he knows that the pressure's all out. Could it be in towards the kitchen? At least finds one to get out with his life, but Fame is instantly there for the trade. So now the bomb is getting planted. What other wall banks can New York Subliners teach us in this moment? Is now in the 3v2. Hydra on the pitch already, makes it a 2v2.
Oh, and Kismet ends up spawning one onto Bance. Oh, we can't tag him up fully on a sliver of HP. Bance stays alive, 30 seconds to go.
Oh, Bance! Oh, Fame!
But he also stays alive. Hydra.
Oh, Hydra!
The 1v1.
1v1.
Can he clutch it out for the team? Can he win it here? Where has Fame gone? He spotted him. Can he drop
No!
yes!
Hydra!
With an unbelievable 1v2 as the Subliners hold off what was an incredible comeback made for Rokkr. Insane stuff toward the stretch here on this hotel search and destroy.
Fame had him, man.
But my God,
he had
what
him.
a game it was. What a series this has been.
Oh, this is going to go down 2-2, I bet.
Are you okay, Jay? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here, Lando. I just can't believe that Hydra was able to do that. Keep in mind, Fame just got into a gunfight, so he wasn't instantly available to challenge alongside Bance as soon as he jumped out towards Freezer. But once Hydra was able to win that one-on-one versus Bance, you knew the positioning of Fame. It just all came down who was a better dancer in that situation, who had a little bit more salsa in towards the kitchen, snaking behind the desk. And eventually, it was Hydra with that fast Evan hand up close and personal. You're going to be able to put yourself in the advantage in that gunfight situation. Hydra's able to clutch up the 1v1 versus Fame, doesn't even allow him to use the cruise missile, and eventually stops the bleeding because Minnesota, round by round, was starting to fight back into that search and destroy. But New York are able to close it out in a 6-3 fashion, tied the series at 1, and now they have some hotel control where they do have a good time on.
Oh, geez, Jay, that was fun. That was a good search destroy. I tell you what, man, we were definitely thinking all New York. The Minnesota makes the comeback, and it just feels like that 1v1 very well possibly decides the game. I mean, if you're Minnesota, you were down 5-0. You're like, guys, we have no right to be in this game. Let's just pull off some crazy stuff. Let's just do some wild strats and see if it manages to land. Well, Hydra wins that 1v1, and now New York, they've got themselves a foothold in this series. But before we go to a quick little commercial break, we got to talk about Spylights, presented by Citadel on Prime Video. Let's go ahead and read a few of the stat categories. Top 8 or better in all 9 years of competing, so it is a vet. 1.16 KD in only champs appearance, and then a member of the first team to beat Complexity in a grand final. Very, very interesting. You guys can feel free to put your predictions down in the chat and stick around, as after this break, we will find out who that player is. See you all in just a moment.
I'm gonna guess accuracy. Only champs appearance? Huh. That doesn't make any sense. Because if he's been top 8 for all the years, how does he only have 1 champs appearance? I don't understand. I don't understand the question. What did I just drop? I just dropped something. Oh shit. God damn it. I fucked up. I had the music still on. Whoops. I might have fucked up, but that's okay. Kind of already fucked up today anyway, but working on a side job. Got some stuff going on. So, even though we're busy, we're still bringing you guys the show. And I am trying to get ready for my softball practice today too. So, putting on my softball equipment because I got that in about an hour and a half. Could very well be a little late to that after this game is over. If it goes all 3. What is that? Is that showing? No. Yeah, it looks like Seattle handled Florida in their new roster as Havoc leaves the Florida roster for Vickle. So, but Florida still took a map. I think they took an S&D map. And then Seattle kind of rolled them the next 2 maps. Boston winning with their debut with Kremp. 3 maps to 1 against the London Royal Ravens. Kremp looking pretty good. He had a little bit of a slow start, but I think he came back roaring pretty hardcore. And then now we have the Rokkr and Fame in his second game with the Rokkr. And Rokkr winning map 1 pretty convincingly, but then losing map 2. Almost had a comeback, but it should be interesting, the swing round for Control. Very much a swing round. We'll see what happens. I think that the New York Subliners have started to come roaring back. We'll see if they can, what kind of stuff they can pull off in the Control round. I didn't catch any maps or modes on this. So, we shall see. We shall see. Thank you guys for coming in and hanging out, though, as we are almost through the last match of the day. It's been a little bit weird today trying to work on a little side project I got going on, but tomorrow we got full undivided attention, and Sunday we might be a little late. We might miss the first match, but we'll definitely be here for the Optic match on Sunday at the very least.
The Call of Duty League brought to you by the new series Citadel, premiering on April 28, only on Prime Video.
How's it going, friends, and welcome
Guess
back
Lamar,
to Who's That Pro
accuracy.
presented by Citadel on Prime Video. Let's read through this again. I was told that coming in from the commercial break, that only 1 person had actually got it right so far. So top 8 or better in all 9 years of competing, a 1.16 KD in only champs appearance, and member of the first team to beat Complexity in a grand final. Jay, do you have any idea who this is?
Could be
I have
Kismet.
no clue. They did a great job just blurring out the image. All these stats on this player. To only have 1 champs appearance with a 1.16, I am lost for words. Who is this guy?
All right, let's reveal it. Let's see who it is.
It's nameless.
Oh!
What? It's your duo, Jay. How did you not know?
What? How did I not know? Because I know my guy to get top 8 or better for all 9 years competing. This is straight cap. He didn't only go to 1 champs as well. There was 1 champs where I knocked him out the first day there. Oh yeah, he was dominant there, but wow, Nameless, you got top 8 out of 8 or 9. No, that's cap, bro. That's cap. Nameless is awful.
Oh my gosh, we have to look through the stats
cap, he
to
says.
just ensure that all those things are indeed accurate. We gotta give him some props, right? What was it? The Complexity Dynasty Pax Prime back in 2013.
Remember that? I remember that. Legendary stuff. And we got to give you a little bit of props, buddy. But my word, what a series, by the way, Jake, that this has turned out to be. Minnesota win game 1. New York come back in that hotel search and destroy. Hydra wins a wild 1v1 to have ourselves all even, all square. Now flying in for a hotel control. Is there more chaos coming into this one? What's your thoughts, expectations, etc., buddy? I think this one is going to be a tough one for Minnesota. They've only played it once with their new roster. Went all the way to round number 5 versus a Florida roster where they were able to clutch up on the defensive end. But going up against New York, this is not easy because New York are the #1 attacking team on this map. And they're also great on defense as well. So it has to be with the sling. You have to be able to shut down the pressure that New York like to put on both of these points. But so far, it's already New York with early pressure in towards Diner. First segment about to be done at A. Minnesota probably in a situation where they decided to chalk it already.
Oh, here comes Cammy for the gunfight. Not able to win that one. So NYSL, without question, have numbers right now over inside of A. Restaurant absolutely belongs to them. But this is going to be a good test to see how the remainder of this round looks for Rokkr, Jay. Because while this is a new lineup, as you called it, NYSL, #1 hotel attacking team versus Minnesota, who so far on the season, as we said, a new lineup. But so far on the season, they are the #12 team, I believe, on defense. So, definitely cards stacked against them. We'll see how they look to play this, as they've got 2 minutes and 5 seconds to try and hold back. But I'm sure it's going to be a very aggressive NYSL.
Yeah, New York with 2 minutes on the clock have a lot of time to work with to make up the play in their mind of how they want to break in towards the speed point. Skies is just taking his time towards back steps. Pushed out towards Shandy, trying to find an opening for his teammates. Kismet was actually able to slip on towards mid checkout. That's so. Hydra takes down Fame. There's only one player pushed out and towards Bet. Kismet eventually finds the second. One player is now playing for that push through back Shandy, but he's all the way out to play. Kismet already puts himself in a great position. He finds one, can't find the second. But that's already a lot of map control that New York were able to maintain off of those kills. Now you just have to gun up, be ready, because Minnesota, you have to win these gunfights, so the round is going New York's.
And it's wonderful controlled chaos established already from the New York Subliners. You've got Hydra, who's trying to make sure that nobody's in their base. That's right, Vance ends up getting found out. Fame gets beamed as well. So New York, they are all good. I mean, you can pretty much send everybody onto this subjective, allow for Skies to watch the cut, and this round should belong to them. We'll see if Minnesota can make any bit of a dent. There's quite a few players coming in from that mid cut. Once more, Kismet doing great work. Fame actually takes down Vance with the trophy. But Fame at least is able to make good on it, ends up finding another, and now Kismet left by himself over at this B zone. Another 3 down. One last player is alive, and that is Afro, desperately trying to make his way in bottom bed and keep this round afloat.
He drops, so now New York can get right back onto the point. You also have Hydra, who's that player working on that flank, but bad timing right there from Bance. He knew that a player was coming from that position.
Kismet, huge 3.
As the Bulldog from the front,
that was huge.
3, close out the round. New York 1-0, nice and easy.
Huge.
That looked very well controlled. Honestly, looked like they could have maybe even won the round a little bit earlier, Jay. Like, I'm not sure if they were just having a great time playing with their food, but it just felt like for a solid minute, they had at least 3 players stacked up in mid. Great work from Kismet on multiple occasions to just throw himself at the opposition and walk away out on top pretty much every single time. 9-3 just in one round is what nets, as we said, the #1 attacking team here on Hotel. A lovely first round. Now it's time for Minnesota's test. What will they have on the cards for us? It's going to have to be a round victory, obviously, if they want to tie when it comes down to things, but we'll see what they have for us. As it's Vance and Afro looking to try to clear things out over at the restaurant. Job done for them. Close spawns instantly granted for Rokkr as well. It's about to be a stack.
Yeah, Rokkr just going to clear out A. Try to extend this time by a minute. Hold down your angles just in case anyone tries to go for a flank. As Cammy reads that player flanking through kitchen. Second segment already done. New York are now put in a situation where they had to decide to chalk it, and the decision might have been made for them as Afro finds 2, being super aggressive now up through Shandy's side, just trying to play his life before he does get cut down by Kismet. Skies also finds a second, so great exit kills so far from New York. Now it's all about maintaining this map control. Where is Vance?
Oh, Hydra.
Hydra just jumps the corner, able to take care of
that.
That
was an ego chow.
You can just see Vance's POV. Just all out disgust right there of like, how do I lose that gunfight? Hydra on the other end could definitely make you quite frustrated throughout a series.
Freaking
work there
insane.
for him. Fame nearly shoots his teammates.
Hail
But
Hydra.
everybody's still afloat right now from Minnesota. Managing to make their way past that 50-yard line. A few have fallen in the meantime. Afro, he gets cut down as well. 3 fall and
Oh, man.
for another wave cleared here for Subliners. Flexing that aggression.
New York just holds strong, man. They hold strong on the defensive end. They know where the pressure's coming from. Hydra tries to go for the snap onto Afro, but Afro gets the better of him in that engagement. Now it's all on the rest of New York. Can they hold strong at the bedroom side? Kids in the Skies and Hydra all combined for 3. Farthest player pushed up is Bance. But at least Bance, in his situation now, has to try to just play his life. Allow his teammates to get into the play before he decides to go for this flank. And so far, he's doing a great job of doing so. Big gunfight versus Hydra.
Yeah, last time around, as we said, he lost that fight to Hydra, and now let's see how things begin to formulate, how things begin to brew. Minnesota, a very, very talented team, especially when it comes down to the tactics. Right now, they've got a few bodies stacked around this objective. Bance, the player to look out for, ends up finding another kill. This time, it's going to be on to Priesta. Kismet eventually finds him, and now it's all on to Fame inside of the objective. He eventually drops, but the cavalry has arrived from Minnesota a tad late, but what can they do with it? They continue to stop the time, but Cammy pretty much left out by his lonesome. He will fall. That progress does move a little bit further, but the problem being for Minnesota is that they have allowed for Skies to continue to take them down again. And in the meantime of that, he has also earned a cruise missile. 40 seconds on the clock. 1 to 2 good pushes left here for Rokkr.
Yeah, Rokkr had to try to find an opening. Skies already earns himself that cruise missile. So just in case it gets a little bit out of hand, he can invest it to secure the round for his team. It's Minnesota able to find 2 kills. They spot out Skies as well. Great kill from Fame to take him down in that positioning. So now you have full bedroom control, but it's all about these next wave of gunfights. If you can win these, you can hop the point and potentially spawn New York all the way across.
Oh, Hydra.
But Hydra cuts down 2. Hydra maintains bedroom control, and with only 10 seconds left, only 2 players from Minnesota can stop this clock.
And Minnesota can still dolphin dive on it. That is, unless, yeah, they can make it through
Nope.
the angle there.
Nice
from
job by
Priesta.
NYSL,
He drops
2-0.
him instantly. And from there, it is a nice little laugh coming in from Skies. You can try all you want. You're not going to take me down. Excellent job. So far throughout this series, Jay, especially throughout games 2 and game 3 here for Skies, he is having a wonderful time right now here on the hotel, as that is now going to be 2-0 here to kick off this control. And the worrisome part for Minnesota, man, is that this felt like a mode where they should be looking pretty good on it, right? I mean, this has really been their stable mode so far throughout the season, but they are running into, as we said, one of the better control teams in the game, especially here on hotel. We'll see if NYSL can make it, what, back-to-back attacks, I guess.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Can New York potentially close it out here in 3? And already a great pinch set up from Skies and Hydra. As they cut down the 2 players who were playing over towards that A point. They're not slowing down, though. They're only leaving 1 player on this segment. Everyone else deciding to push Dushandy's side. Hydra's just trying to play those cutoff kills. He finds 1. He goes back for the Eagle Chow, knowing that Fame is about to turn that corner, but he sets up Priesta to take care of that player. First segment already done. New York just all over the map right now. They're just leaving 1 player on A. They're trying to rotate over towards B.
You can tell you got 3 players who I think right now are distracted by Kismet. He tosses out his stun, goes for the fight, able to win that. Does he have another one?
Oh!
Yes, he does. Tried to go for the heat check. A bit frustrated, but boy, has the Bulldog managed to bark up a storm in the Rokkr base. As thankfully Minnesota begin to stabilize, NYSL still have yet to go for the full capture on
They're
A.
gonna get it now.
As they'll initiate 2 players to ensure that that one is done and dusted. So once again, another situation where Minnesota down in lives, 2 minutes on the clock, and they've got to hold off a very, very solid attacking side in NYSL. Thankfully, they put 3 away early, and maybe they can start to establish something special. Only player that is alive for the moment is Hydra, and we'll see what he can do in a spot like this. Rocking dead silence, Jay.
Oh yeah, Hydra might have found the perfect timing, invest that dead silence. Gonna be able to get somewhat bedroom control, but he still knows that there's a couple Minnesota players who are still roaming around this side of the map. Take care of at least 1. But now where is Afro? Is Afro still staying alive towards bottom bed? You have 3 players from New York. Everyone is trying to locate where he is. Kismet eventually does drop by him. Afro finds 2. Hydra's there for the trade. Also, that dead silence is going to reset. But now if you are New York, you have bedroom control. You're going to try to attack this from the front end. You have to hold strong in this position as Bance and
good kill from Bance
for 2. Now they can take
to get Hydra out of there.
Good work so far here from Minnesota. As you said, they're trying to make their way into the bedroom. However, New York winning a few crucial gunfights on the other side, so the pendulum continues to swing. Kismet looks to answer there with attack. He eventually falls, so Minnesota remain strong, remain true. But NYSL with some close spawns are going to quickly make their way here in toward middle. Hydra pretty much in the playstyle that he loves. Fast-paced, aggressive. Ends up dropping.
It's like his gun didn't shoot.
In these big spots where it feels like a 1v1 goes their way, and this round could quickly look different. Time continues to tick. And now for Minnesota, can they hold off another wave and finally put a round up on the board?
And this is the final push. Kismet at least puts himself in a great position towards middle. Check
out
Afro
got 2.
He does get cut down by Cammy, and Afro finds the 2 players from New York who are trying to overextend through Shandy's side. Final 10 seconds. New York are getting some close spawns in towards the bedroom, but I don't even know if they have enough time to get towards the point. Minnesota are watching every single angle. Afro and Cammy combined for 2. They're eventually able to stop the clock, but Bance with the snap onto Skies is able to close
what was
out
that?
For Minnesota Rokkr. Good work to hold strong on the defensive end this time around for 2 minutes over towards that B point and secure your first round of the map. Now down 2-1.
Wasn't easy. Maybe learning from a few of their mistakes, right? We talk so often about like in search destroy, right? Trying to mid-round adjustments. You can say the same thing about control, right? They lose that opening attack to New York this time. Still allow for that A zone to go the opposite direction, but they hunker down. They hold on for 2 minutes. And now they've got themselves a foothold. Still a chance. Here in this control, Jay, what do you see, or rather, what do you want to see Minnesota do differently than the first time we saw them on attack?
I would have liked to see them just, it's easy to get A. It's easy to get A, but at least leave one person on this point, play for your kills, try to transition over towards B, because New York on their defensive setup are just too strong on that side of the map. So just leave one player here. Just be aggressive on the opposite sides. All the different angles. Just try to be the cutoff mans. So you can try to capture at least some segments over towards B, because just getting into this glitch and blender versus a team like New York, this is exactly how they want you to play.
Without a doubt, Bane snaking his heart out, trying to stay alive. Thankfully, Afro's going to be there to drop Hydra. So sweat off the brow here for the rookie. Does not have to see the French phenom, at least for a few more seconds. Afro, well, he'll fly on forward. He drops. So the scouts who are looking for information right now from Minnesota, really not saying a whole lot, right? They've just been able to look out the windows here of the restaurant, but that has pretty much been it. Not allowed to exit and pretty much forced to the respawn screen. Yeah, Thane, he eventually falls as well. A clean few down here for New York as Kismet on a run has to clean up a few of those kills. Now on a 4 spree, potentially a cruise missile in the future. Here for the Bulldog, ends up making it 5. Eventually drops, but boy, are New York putting a hurt on those lives of Minnesota.
And finally, Minnesota are able to get out of Diner. Speak Kismet, already 28 and 18 in this control, taking over with that SMG. Does get killed off spawn though. Big nade from Fame. As all our pressure is going to be in towards the back end, but it sets up Hydra on the
from Hydra.
He's able to cut down 2. Now they get the information. There's only 1 player left in the background spawn. You take care of him. All ready to push is going to get shut down.
This could be the end of the control map for Rokkr.
Reset button for Minnesota.
A win for NYSL.
They now have to push through kitchen, but here comes Priesta. He's cutting him down as well.
Oh, and Kismet could also strike here through this mid-cut.
It's out to hold them off for a minute.
As you said, for Minnesota, they've had 1 chance to really get outside of the Diner. Here's their second opportunity, but already less than a minute on the clock.
They got 2.
They're able to find 2 in the meantime. Kismet, recognizing how valuable his life is, wants to make sure that if someone challenges through middle, that he can win that fight, but he does not. So that is 3 down. Skies in the
another
meantime,
2 down
to bring in that streak, but a few of his teammates have already fallen. That streak does not find a single soul, and with that being the case,
2 on the
Minnesota
point.
have map positioning.
Minnesota have map positioning, but do they know the positioning of Skies?
Nope, they got him.
And Skies is just waiting for
his
his
teammates
to
get 4
back
down.
into the play. Doesn't even have to shoot a bullet, as all of his teammates are able to find all the kills. Now force Minnesota to find another exit outside of the Diner. 30 seconds left, 17-7 in lives remaining. Minnesota have 1 to 2 more good pushes left.
Can they make something magical happen? Can they pull off what looks right now as the impossible?
Oh.
Freestyle nearly goes for the turn on. Fam and Cammy combined for 2. Kismet's life once again. Is that much more important? Gets Afro out of the fight, so they know
they still got a 2. They should have a 3 stack.
Got to be on this objective.
They got a 2 stack now. Only 1 on. They got him off. 12 seconds.
On the clock. 1 player.
Wow. They had a 3 stacked.
It's all
GG.
to fame. As he gets found out, New York reach the finish line. Take hotel control.
Control's freaking tough, man.
That's just good work from New York. The one attack.
They had a couple shots though. They tried.
In the very first round, it was almost flawless on the attacking side, but 2 times on defense where they had to hold a 2-minute setup over towards that B site. And they do it flawlessly. Did not let Minnesota get out of diner, did not let them get out of kitchen. And every single time that they did, they were being aggressive towards back Shandy, and the players all spawned, and they just finished killing, were able to take them down on the side of New York. This is a perfect game plan, man, from New York. Just making sure that you were aggressive on the right side of the maps, making sure that you maintain bedroom side, even with Skies being the only player on that side of the map. With him being as pushed out as he was, it allowed his teammates to get that second opportunity to find that break onto B, even with Minnesota finding all the kills towards double deaths. That was just textbook control right there from one of the best control teams that we have in the game, especially on some hotel control. Now puts New York up 2-1 in the series.
Yeah, very, very impressive stat line coming in from a multitude of players, but Kismet, it feels like tops the charts, at least in my eyes, Jay. A multitude of great little situations.
Yeah, a few great plays from Kismet, a few really good plays from Hydra to really springboard NYSL over the Rokkr. Rokkr really couldn't do much in that control match. They're going to have to really pick it up in Hardpoint. They won map 1 Hardpoint, so they're just going to have to do it again, Rokkr did. To try to send it to a map 5. Or can NYSL close it out here with a win? We'll see.
Here versus New York. As we said, outslay Florida by 28. Here they get outslayed by 20 kills. So a massive, massive difference when it comes down to previous opponents.
Outslayed.
New York will have the final laugh here on Hotel as they win Game 2 and Game 3. And now, Jay, we're finally seeing something other than Hotel. I love this map, but I'll tell you what, man, I feel like we've been here for a long time.
Oh yeah, we've been here for a long time. What was it, like 5-6 days stay? Like, what do we have? The suite, we had premium access, the best internet that they had in the entire hotel. But finally, it's time for us to check out and make our way over to some Mercado Las Almas for the Game 4 Hardpoint. Yeah, this one's gonna be fun, man. For Minnesota, they haven't really played it a lot. They have an overall record of 2-1. They played it once with their new roster, and they were able to beat LAG pretty easily, almost by 120 points in that situation. But as a team like New York, who are middle of the pack when you talk about this hard point as of recent, it's either they're getting flawless breaks and they are struggling in their holds, or they're winning their rotations and their setups are not the best. So on a map like Mercado, we saw Minnesota, at least in that map number 1, win a majority of those rotations, set up properly to get some good time. And going up against a team like New York, this is a map where you have to do that same exact thing to potentially force that Game 5.
Yeah, and it's going to be a tall task, right, for the Rokkr to not just have to beat NYSL in 1 hardpoint, but to have to beat this team on 2 hardpoints. As you said, one of the best respawn teams in the game, and now you're going to have to take them down here on Mercado. Interesting stat, man. I was actually looking through some of the numbers for the highest KDs. In this lobby right now, 4 out of the 5 players that we have in this lobby actually represent some of the top 5 KDs that we have on Mercado Hardpoint. So 4 out of the 5 are actually in this lobby right now. Alpha number 2, Bance number 3, Priesta 4, Skies 5, and oh yeah, Hydra just happens to be number 7. So it is definitely going to be an interesting stat line at the end of this game to see who comes out on top, because so far throughout this year, both teams have been maybe winning the games the majority of the time, but a lot of their success, I guess, has come from the slaying side of things.
Yeah, for Minnesota, small sample size. The fact that he got a couple players in the top KD on this map with only a 2-1 record, that's expected to happen. But that for New York, who have played this map 7 times, the reason why their stats are a little bit more padded is because they had the ability to play the Gorillas on this map, not once, but twice. First time, it was a 100-point game. The second time, it was almost a 200-point game. So everybody's stats are going to be up in the air for both of these squads. So they know what it's about. When you're putting yourself in the better position, you're able to find the easier kills. And this is a guy who is doing it all throughout map 1. Cammy, 30 and 18, 3-3-3-3 all across that damage with 1 minute and 25 seconds in Hill. Man AR from Minnesota came to play in that map number 1. And then on the opposite side for Priesta, in that Atlanta FaZe series, he dominated. But so far in this series, not the best. 0.4 in that map number 1. Priesta is a guy that can definitely turn it around in the blink of an eye. And he has the ability to do it for his team here in this map 4 to close out the series.
Yeah, 2 great players to point out coming into game number 4 here on Mercado. Potentially the final map of this series. All of that relies upon how Minnesota can play this. And it feels like Cammy is an appropriate player to discuss as we jump into this opening hardpoint. Jay put up 30 and 18. We saw 1.5 minutes inside of the Hill. He was absolutely on one. And statistically, as we said, Bance and Afro, they've been the dynamic duo with the SMGs here on Mercado. If they have Cammy playing at any of a similar level as he did in the opening hardpoint, Minnesota could be in a great position.
Well, it's not going to be easy, though, because they're going against a Subliners team who are the #1 breaking team on this map. And they already showed it. Relative pressure over towards P1. They're maintaining green side as well. Those 2 kills can now hit the go button for Minnesota Rokkr to be aggressive, shoot really quick through tunnel, but they decide to take that long route through Barber. New York, they get those close spawns. They should be set up for pre-2.
Guys, great nade there onto Bance. So currently a 3 versus 3. NY actually going to have someone in player 4. So Hydra's going to spawn out, and with that, he also is going to find pretty much some freebies through the middle tunnel. Gives that call out to Skies, and well, he will fire upon them. Excellent work here so far from New York as Minnesota begin their prowl, begin to make their presence felt. Now toward the bottom side. Skies, quick turn. Oh my God, get some assistance. 1 HP and a dream right now for Caesar, but thankfully his teammates are doing everything right now for him. Flies out and falls. As now it is a 1v1 basically for 20 seconds. Kismet says, give me that one. And now off the roto, it is Priesta left to try and defend himself versus pretty much everybody here on Rokkr. An excellent beginning here for NYSL as they look to bring in the cruise missile to help things out on this rotation.
No, they get the cruise missile, but with Priesta dropping, he was probably trying to invest that for that situation. Try to assist Priesta in staying alive off the rotation, but now it's going to be Minnesota. Fully set up in towards 10. All pressure from New York, coming from dark, coming from back alley. Does anyone decide to hit the hop up through top windows? Looks like it's not going to be the case as Cammy's just gunning them down with that TAC 56, holding the Hecklet strong. Hydra tries to fly on in. He eventually gets cut down. And the first push, already great for Minnesota. 30 uncontested seconds for them to get back into this game.
Yeah, that's just really what you want to see Cammy do, right? When it comes down to this hard point. As we said, the guy to look out for, you just want to see him be stable, pretty much lock things down when he needs to. Another crucial gunfight victory there as he eventually does fall, but you can see what those trades do. A wonderful hold there for Rokkr as they are able to avoid the streak and just like that get right back in this game. As now we make the rotation over toward Barbershop. It is going to be NYSL with preferred spawns and right now with bodies. We'll see if Rokkr can put in the bullets though and make this a successful break. Bance looking to lead the charge. Dead silence out and he gets eviscerated.
He gets cut down. New York win the rotation over towards Barber. Minnesota have gotten themselves right back into this hard point, only down by 11 points. Have full back alley control. You also have Fame working on that deep pinch through blue. So he's the guy that you just simply want to try to play your life so you can influence the spawn for your teammates, but none of your teammates are able to pick up any kills. At least you do get the close spawns over towards that blue side. So the pitch is already going to be abound as Afro's working his way up back alley. This has been 30 uncontested seconds on the side of New York. They're still holding strong. Now it all falls into the hands of Kismet. He finds himself on another 6-3. That's 2 cruise misses he was able to earn so far.
We're only a few hard points.
He's already got 2 cruise missiles.
Cruise missiles to speak of. Almost at that 100-point mark. NYSL.
That's crazy.
Flirting right now with the century. But now they've got that rotation as we get ready to fly in toward 10. Things stall out for a moment. Hard to avoid that scoreline right now from Kismet. Now at 18-5. The snap of a finger drops half of that Rokkr lineup and now leaves them with their head spinning. Afro waiting for a few members to come off the spawn, and so now there is a chance for Minnesota to make something happen. Afro makes his presence felt. Bance and Fame, they end up finding their kills as well. and sweat off the brow for Rokkr. Thankfully, you have got Kismet away from this objective for the moment, but Sky still remains. Found out as well. Afro leads the charge as Rokkr break inside.
That's a great break. They've put a lot of pressure over towards that garage side. No one from New York was watching that angle. It was Kismet, but he turns around and picks up mid. In Minnesota, they were able to find the opening to basically put us at a tie score line. Great hold over towards the 10 2 times around now for the Rokkr. Now they have to find a break over towards Cantinas. This time it's going to be in the second story. You have Skies playing towards the top balk. We've seen Cammy and Fame use this angle a majority of their matches last week. But Priesta, he's able to find two. Skies eventually finds the third. Hydra with the last. They hold the first push. Now they know exactly where Minnesota are trying to break from.
Oh, and Hydra does actually fall, so that is one, I guess you could say, wave of defense eventually cleared. We'll see what Minnesota can do after that, and it does not look like a whole lot. Cammy at least finds two. Regardless of it, New York are still racking up the seconds after what has been a very tightly contested, very fast-paced hardpoint. Right now it is New York just barely able to hold their head above water. A slim advantage, but it continues to grow. Minnesota going to give this one last good push as the rotations are going to be huge. Cammy ends up winning that. Mark that up as another massive gunfight there for Cammy. And right now his positioning is going to mean everything, considering the lead that New York now has.
Oh, Vance.
Big 2Bs coming in from Vance. The only player holding down this angle from back Barber Alley. There's another one on him. He's just playing his life beautifully. He's forcing Skies to overextend in this gunfight. Kismet is going to invest that cruise, trying to play for some information. As the cruise will strike, it's information at the very least. An all-out headbutt right now in the parking lot. A 30-point game as Minnesota trying to bring it back. NYSL, a break here would mean everything. Let's step aside in a crucial moment and go to enlisted with NYSL.
No fight. One shot dead. Nice, good shit, bro. We can fight ult. Default dead. Nice, I need ult.
I don't see him deep right.
No, deep long. Long. Deep long, guys. Deep long, I'm pushing him out. Nice, this phone's in. Help me. RV dead. No one long, right? Are you gone? I'm pushing you. There's one gonna be long. I carry lockers in 2 seconds. Right side. Stay down, Prince, I have you.
One shot, he's absolute, bro.
Mid and behind the RV. He's in front side RV.
Yeah, on your side, RV. On your kids.
So other guy's lockers dead. I'm whoring me. Maybe P4. Close P4 me. Close P4 me. He's laying down.
Someone pick him.
Yeah. Spawn out, block. One shot. You don't have to get in time. Yeah, get up. Shot dead. Nice. One was mid, guys.
I'm on PT. I'm starting to go RV.
They're gonna spawn T. One spawn 10, okay, guys?
I'm on shot. Yeah, I'm
one half on me. He told me. P4 dead. P4 bans. He's P4 truck. P4 truck. Go in the mid. P4 truck. I need your mid cut.
I'm safe.
I'm P2. Mid cut. Okay, guys. He's gonna go dark. Dark right now.
He's deep banana.
Banana dead. Every dark help. Dark is dead. Watch out after Mika bans. Left side, he's laying down. I'll play soft whenever I'm on hill, okay? Or when I spawn up. I'm playing you.
Diving left. Dark yellow van done. More yellow van. Pissed off.
Hey, banana.
One more.
Deep banana. He's absolute banana.
Get some of this time. We're good.
He's staying alive. No, he's taco.
I'm backing up.
He's taco going out. He's going headshot. Headshot. I have headshot.
Yeah, hold that tunnel.
Watch out. Yeah, we have a pinch. You're good. Go deep. Mid, shot. Play tight, guys. Me too. Shot. I'm playing one. Nothing hedge.
A great little check-in there with
the Subliners.
Some hype mixed in with some overall focused comms. As now we get ready for Cantina once more. A hard point that absolutely has the ability to turn the tide of what this series could look like. Right now it is New York who has got the control. One player toward the top left is Cammy. He gets found out, and from there, Minnesota began to scramble. New York have reached that double century mark, Jay, and it feels like for Minnesota, things have got to go their way now, and thankfully they do. They find 3, they find 4.
That's a big break right there from the Rokkr. You cannot give up a full 60 hold over towards Cantina. As they get a break with about 30 seconds left, so the final 30 is going to be theirs. Still a back and forth hard point, but it's all about this rotation over towards 10. It was Minnesota Rokkr. We were able to hold it for a full 60 last time around with only one player from New York in this position. But this time it's all the players from the Subliners set up for the push, knowing where the pressure is coming from. 45 seconds away from calling series. Minnesota gonna put a lot of pressure out through the big door. They're also trying to take mid-court yard as well. They're just trying to find their angle.
Trying to organize the troops. Hydra tosses out a nade. able to make it late.
Oh, all three.
True for three.
This could be it. No, I don't think they can win. But yeah, they can. They definitely can.
Last man alive is going to be Bance. Pretty much sniffed out. Can Bance stay alive? Can he
20
find a lane?
seconds
In the
now.
meantime, right now for New York, they're locking
They gotta
down the
break it.
seconds, yet to really meet any bit of adversity.
Skies.
But now
Skies again.
Oh,
That's it.
Now for Caesar,
That's ball game.
And 10 points away for New York. Calling game. Can anybody from Rokkr get here in time? It's going to have to be a dolphin dive. It's going to have to be a Hail Mary.
Nope.
And that is game. NYSL.
NYSL gonna take a $10,000 bounty match
The final 3 maps.
against Minnesota Rokkr. I don't know. Bance looks pissed.
playing in this map number 1, they started off great by chaining that P1 to the B2. I feel like the right side of the map.
Why is Bance so pissed off?
Find a lot of success there. On the opposite side of the map towards the 10s.
Pretty sure that's it. Pretty sure that's all she wrote, folks. As the New York Subliners take this match 3 maps to 1. Thank you guys for hanging out with us here on the Hard Carry. We'll catch you guys tomorrow for more matches, more bounty matches. Thank you guys so much for coming in and hanging out. Much love.